welcome everybody. Let's talk real estate. Your weekly BS with Barry Saywitz about the current commercial real estate market here in Southern California. As we take a no BS look at both sides of the issues driving this market today to find the best solutions going forward. With our man right in the middle, it's Barry Saywitz. Hey, Barry.
Hey, good morning, Paul, and good morning to all of our viewers and our listeners out there. I am Barry Saywitz, president of the Saywitz Company. We're back here talking real estate. I am excited about today's show, and the reason I'm excited is because we have a very special guest who happened to walk in and grant us his presence and is going to share his thoughts with us, and it happens to be my own son, Ryan Saywitz. So, Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I stumbled in the wrong room.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I lost along the way, yeah.
I'm shocked that they let you through security as well with a last name like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Normally we talk real estate. I want to talk a little bit of real estate, but I figure since you're here, we'll talk about really what's more prevalent. And so you are at USC, and for those UCLA fans out there, that's how it goes. And we're over it and moving on. And you were
not fully over it.
But I deal with it the best I can. But you're in the film school, right? They call it SCA, and you're in the movie and television production major genre group, if you will, at the film school, which is even more difficult to get into of the rest of the majors. And so getting into USC, in my book, more difficult than getting into Harvard, and really a select group of people and from a wide pool of applicants to be able to get in there. And so I guess let's rewind and just talk about that process and how you got into USC and the application process and what it was like when you were going through it in high school.
Yeah, it was a pretty grueling process, the whole application to the film school. I remember this, endless, sleepless nights that I was spending. I had to make a short film. I spent weeks and weeks on it. I made it more complicated than it probably needed to be, but there was stop motion animation aspects of it. There were live action aspects of it. So that took a lot. And then there was also supplemental essays you had to write. I had to write a scene for a short scene, 5 pages. And then, there were a bunch of other questions I had to answer.
Yeah, you got to fill out a whole resume of all the projects that you'd done. Then you had to make a personal video.
Right,
so,
yeah. An introduction to myself. Yeah, that was a lot of work. Definitely paid off, though. Super glad I did it because, it worked out. It was worth it.
Yeah, and of all the places that you got into school, if you wanted to do film, this is the cream of the crop, right? It is the #1 film school, and we have to give props where it's due, certainly, in the world, and the most selective, and churns out the most Oscar winners and Emmy winners and all of these kinds of things at the end of the day. So you're surrounded by people that are the cream of the crop. And so then you get to USC, and in between all the partying and meeting new people and late nights and who knows what you did, you start taking these film classes, right? And so some of them are introductory film classes. From my perspective, I'm curious yours, it really is hands-on where you're in movie studios on campus that have these awesome facilities where you're using real cameras with real people and real actors making real things.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They have an amazing program there. It's the production classes get more and more hands-on each semester, and it's just an amazing program.
And in addition to getting into free movies on campus all the time because you're in the film school, which is one of the perks, but then you actually start to get into making the film. I guess talk about that, because I guess the average person doesn't really understand when you get in this class, it's not read chapter 4 for a business class, and then we're going to have a test on Tuesday. You have projects, right? And then with these projects, you're put into a pod with other groups of people that you have to, some you don't know at all, and then you have to figure out how to work with them and manage their personalities and vice versa.
Yeah, I think everyone in my classes can attest to this. The best thing about it is when you're in these classes, it comes down to it's not even necessarily about the grades. It's about making a good project for the sake of making a good film, something that you can be proud of. And so even if you're on the track to get an A, for many people, myself included, that still feels like it's not enough because you want to make a project you're truly proud of. And I think that's the best part about the structure of the classes.
And also when other people tell you, hey, that's good stuff. Not only looking at it yourself and being proud of it, but the appreciation by a third party. That's why people go to the movies. And so now you're a senior. So past, I would say, most of the partying really focused on the next step of...
There never was any partying, by the way.
Yeah, tell your mother that. But now you're making actual films in class and have to do that for senior thesis and have to do that for other filmmaking classes where they actually make you make a class. Talk about that experience, because I know last year you got assigned to be the producer in one scenario and then the director and the writer in a different scenario. How does that work?
So that was my junior thesis class, where you basically you're in a group of 3 and you make 3 films throughout the course of the semester. So the semester's 15 weeks. Every 5 weeks you rotate and you make a new film. One person's the director, one person's the producer, one person's the cinematographer. The producer usually edits the film as well, and then you rotate. So that's probably the most hands-on, I would say, grueling class of the program. What that class is designed to do is expose you to every single role in the process of making a film. So then you can figure out which direction you want to go if you're not sure already, because you have so much hands-on experience now with the tight deadlines with every single role. It's pressure regardless. It's just a matter of which kind of pressure you like being under in which role. And
I think it also gives you an appreciation for what other people are doing in the process. Even
right,
if that's not you, then get it. It's not that you don't understand the whole filmmaking
Yeah,
process.
no, it totally helps you understand every single aspect of it.
So let's rewind. So last year you had this class, right? You're making a movie, and then you somehow become the director and the writer for the short film. So how did it go? Did they pick you and go, hey, Ryan, here's the deal. This week you're going to be the writer, or how did it work?
Basically how it was structured is, so this was my junior thesis class. That was last fall. The semester before that, you spend writing a script for the short film that you're going to make in this junior thesis class. And so you write the script the whole semester. You can work on it over the summer in between semesters. And then once you get into the semester, you're basically just going right into it. And so for my trio, I was producer first. So I'm focusing on producing a film for the first 5 weeks. Then I was the cinematographer, so I'm focused on that aspect of it for the second 5 weeks. And then it's my turn to direct the script that I wrote. And so when you're working on the first 2 films, there's really not much time to perfect your script or make whatever changes you want to make. So it's really important for that to lock it in over the summer before you go into production. But yeah, it was always from the beginning I was going to write and direct a film for that class and have a script written before going into it.
And so you had the experience as the producer. You got to deal with permits and the city and contracts.
It's a nightmare.
Act and making sure they get a break and they don't work overtime and all those things. That's the operational side, if you will, of the filmmaking. And then you've experienced the editing and the cinematography behind the camera in terms of creating the finished product from the raw material, and then also writing and directing. And where's the focus now going forward? Is it on a combination of the filmmaking and the creation and the editing and cinematography side of it?
I would say with this film that I just got into the Newport Beach Film Festival, from that class that I wrote and directed, I had a great time writing and directing that. So I definitely want to get as much out of that film as I can. And, of course, make more films where I'm the writer-director, but also have other projects I'm working on where I'm cinematographer or editor. I'm editing my senior thesis right now. So really enjoying all aspects. Still working on narrowing down which direction I want to go, but I think the best part about that is I'm really getting a well-rounded understanding of every single aspect of production. You
make this film. I saw it a year ago. Everybody loved it. They showed multiple films from the class. I must say there were a couple of the content was a little freaky deaky, and then a couple of them I just didn't really see the cinematography. And I'm biased, certainly, but I thought yours was one of the best films, if not, in my opinion, the best film. But it was packed full of people, lots of family, lots of parents, so friendly crowd. And then now you submit this film to the Newport Beach Film Festival, which has been going on for 26 years. It has grown dramatically. We've had the CEO and the co-founder as a guest on the show to talk about the business aspect of the film festival. And now it's really one of the major film festivals in the country, and it's in the backyard, and it's close to home, and you submit your film. And then how does that go? Yeah, that's the craziest part, is because, like you were saying, screening on campus was parents and people on campus, people with easy access, because it was also free screening, and now screening was part of the class. Now it's, it's a real life screening where people are buying tickets, going out of their way, paying money to come see my film in a block of short film. So that's really been the biggest kind of wake up moment about the whole thing. And then they put you in, so it's shown at the lot in Newport Beach at a real movie theater. And all of a sudden, the thing sells out pretty quick. Yeah. And then, as we talked about, they decide, okay, we're going to go, just like a rock band who decides we're going to go for a second show, right? So they open up a second show, and then that one sells out. Yeah, it just sold out. Right as I got here, I found out that sold out. So it's a good feeling, and so now you have a bunch of strangers coming to see your film, and we'll see what the reaction is from that. And then you got to go to the opening night festivities, meet the founder of the film festival, meet the mayor of Newport Beach who signed your certificate, sitting behind Oscar winner Renee Zellweger, and meet a bunch of other people from the industry. And so what's that? One day you're in class, right? And then the next day you're putting on a suit and hobnobbing it with the mayor. How's that experience been?
Definitely surreal. Again, eye-opening, like I said. I've been going to the Newport Beach Film Festival for years just as a viewer, buying tickets and just seeing all the short films I can. But now having a film in it, having access to other events that I didn't have access to before because I wasn't a filmmaker in the festival, it's been pretty surreal. And one of the opening night was, it was just that. Again, there's been so many like eye-opening wake-up moments along this process and a little bit of imposter syndrome. But once I'm in the place, I'm like, wow, like I got here. Like I did it. I got myself here, and that's something I should be proud of.
Yeah, and look, as your father, I am super proud of you. So congratulations. The entire family is proud of the accomplishments, and we're looking forward to future and next projects. And then I would just say soak in the moment and soak in the experience. And then obviously you try and make as many contacts as you can because that's what it's all about, right? And filmmaking and the entertainment industry, not dissimilar to the real estate industry in the sense that it's really a lot about connections. And you have to have talent. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be good at your craft. But really what separates people or gets them to another level is exposure and contacts and then what you do with that at the end of the day. So I would just say, look, you soak it in. And then you got class again tomorrow, and you have to go back and finish it up, right? And I want to tie in the real estate because I also think that as a filmmaker, and I'm curious your thoughts, it's important, like you mentioned, to be well-rounded, right? You need to understand the producer's role and their perspective to better be able to work with the producer at the end of the day. The director, the screenwriter, the cinematographer, the editor, the gaffer, all the different components of what goes into making a movie. But at the same time, you also are going to get out in the real world and have to manage your own finances and deal with leasing an apartment or leasing a car or all of the kinds of things that every normal kid that grows up and goes to college and gets out in the real world and gets a job has to deal with. And you've been taking real estate classes, finance classes, business classes to help round out, I guess, the business normal aspects of being an adult. And how has that been at USC, and has that helped you in terms of, do you think, preparing you to get out there and spread your wings?
Yeah, I think, again, like business classes certainly help with the producing aspect of it. And like you said, it's important to be well-rounded. Yeah, certainly as far as like logistical things that you're learning in business classes, like conceptual stuff about real estate, about finances, certainly helps learning budgeting. And I also think learning the art of negotiation in business classes as well certainly helps with things like pitching and just all kinds of logistical things, because you really can't get a movie made without having a sense of business and without having a sense of how to really get a film produced and going through all the logistical stuff.
Yeah, and whether it's a real estate transaction or a film, there's contracts, there's negotiations on multiple levels with multiple people. And in real life, there's constant negotiations, and it's people skills, right? And so people, you need to be able to interact with people, and part of it's sales and part of it's just interaction and part of it's customer service. I don't care what field or craft you're in. I think those are important skills to have.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And for myself and all the other people out there, are you excited to finish up at USC? And then is the plan to continue to make more projects, not only while you're there, but then when you get out and then get exposed to other people's projects as well?
Yeah, so it's definitely a bit bittersweet because it's been an amazing time there. So coming to the end is a little intimidating, especially separating from all the great people I've met there. But my goal is to continue to work with those same people outside of college once I'm graduated, and again, yes, continue making films, continue churning them out, make as many projects as I can. That's the ultimate goal. And
in the same process, you're also working on getting your real estate license, so that, number one, you have that knowledge behind you and that skill set. And at the end of the day, people who do well, whether it's in business or real estate or entertainment, you got to buy a house, you buy an investment. It's important to know those kinds of things, regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So look, I couldn't be prouder. I'm so happy you came by to say hello, and happy to have you on the show and expose you to the viewers and the listeners out there. And now I got to kick you out because you got to go back to school and do some other work. And so for people who want to find out more about the film that you've done, that's at the Newport Beach Film Festival, you can go to the website, which is newportbeachfilmfest.org. And then you can look up the short films and they can find the short film there. But also, if they want to be able to view the trailer at the moment, since it's not really out there to the general public, where do they go to find that?
So the short film's called Followed. If you look up Followed short film teaser, it'll come up. There's a little 30-second teaser out on YouTube. Yes, so we're continuing to try to go through the festival circuit and apply to more festivals. And once that's over, then the film will be released to the public.
But you have your own Instagram, and then you have your own website, which has other stuff in your portfolio that you've done, and other medium and other projects. Can people look up that?
Yeah. So Instagram is at ryan.saywitz. The website is www.ryansaywitz.com. Those are that's the Instagram handle and the website. Definitely have some other projects up there for everyone to check out.
I think I speak for everyone in that, number one, congratulations, and we are super proud of you. Number two, can't wait to see what comes next, and can't wait to see where things go in the future. So we will hold our breath, and we will give you best wishes, and appreciate you coming in. Always good to see you. Don't be afraid to come home and say hello once in a while. And we'll move on. And so for those out there who haven't had the opportunity to experience the Newport Beach Film Festival, we'll give a plug for that. For those out there that are part of the USC Nation, we say fight on. I don't do that very often. It's hard.
It doesn't feel natural.
No, it doesn't. And for those that went to UCLA, we won several weeks in a row, and we'll hold our breath and keep hoping that we can keep it going moving forward. So with all of that said, I am Barry Saywitz, president of the Saywitz Company, managing partner of Saywitz Properties. Thank you again to our guest, Ryan Saywitz, for coming on. And thank you to everybody here at OC Talk Radio for helping to put it together every week for us. We'll see you back here next time on Let's Talk Real Estate.
There you have it. You've been listening to Let's Talk Real Estate, your weekly BS with Barry Saywitz about the current state of the real commercial real estate market right here in Southern California. On Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.